Roguelikes are coming out at a pace nobody can physically keep up with, so I've put together 15 of them that are actually worth your time.
Their own attack patterns and weaknesses. And at the end of every biome, you'll face powerful bosses, combat style and active abilities, which are unlocked as you explore the simulation.
Let me clear up a misconception straight away. This game is already out. It is already in early access. And this is not the end of a 7-year journey, it is the middle of one. The origin story is lovely. Felix Shade built the prototype as a student, the clip went viral. Ubisoft came knocking through its indie arm, and he founded Screen Juice off the back of it. The mechanic is lovely too. You swap characters mid-combo, cutting one string of attacks short and continuing with another, and when it clicks, the screen turns into a techno ballet. Now the ugly part. The release slipped at least 3 times. The overall rating sits at 81%, but recent reviews have sagged to 75, and everyone is complaining about the same things.
Choose character upgrades, buffs, or curses that change how you play. You can even chain attacks between different characters. Start with Vector.
Games Workshop has been handing out licenses to anyone with a pulse for a decade, and yet there has never been a Warhammer roguelike. This one comes from Auroch Digital, the Bristol crew who gave us the gloriously chunky bolt gun, and Ponkel, the people behind Vampire Survivors, blessed it officially and are actually working on it. The formula is intact, but the contents were rebuilt from scratch. One run you are Space Marine Malum Cato mulching Tyranids, the next you are Neve Black Talon from Age of Sigmar carving through Skaven on the Ash Plains. The arsenal is all authentic: bolter, chainsword, whirlwind axes, and a pot of Nuln oil paint as a legitimate weapon for which the devs deserve a medal. There is a demo out already, and I would strongly suggest playing it before you open your wallet, because the obvious risk is right there. The original just turned 10, 3 million copies sold, cult status, and then Dodge Roll basically vanished. The studio was formed by 4 guys who walked out of Mythic Entertainment right before it got shut down. Gungeon became their first and effectively only big game, and after that came years of silence.
We're a corrupt president.
This one belongs in a cautionary tale. Matt Dabrowski is building the game almost entirely alone, coding it, designing it, and he has already blown through 2 of his own release dates. Early access slipped from summer to autumn, then autumn got scrapped too. The store page cheerfully promised the following year, and that year came and went. There is no date at all now, and he says flatly that he will only announce one when he is 100% sure. What is oddly charming is how calm he is about it. Asked whether the game will ever actually ship, he points out he has been working on Streets of Rogue for 12 years, and the only thing that stops him is death. The pitch is still fantastic. A huge living open world instead of the first game's tight little levels, co-op, and complete freedom to solve any problem however you want. Whether that means bribery, arson, or turning into a gorilla.
Enjoys a bit too much power.
Build 2 distinct decks. Use the Explore deck to navigate dungeons.
It started life in a 7-day game jam, and the prototype the team threw online was funded by Free Lives, the lunatics behind Broforce. What followed is the rare indie fairy tale. The prototype went viral, Devolver picked it up, the hand-drawn demo pulled a 97% positive rating and over 200,000 wish lists. And the team, by the way, is based in Cape Town. Their idea is beautifully arrogant in its simplicity, 2 decks instead of 1. The first handles combat, the second handles exploration. and the Explorer cards work like tools: a map, a lockpick, a campfire to camp at.
For a new beginning. Shroom and Gloom, play the demo now and see how wild abominations discover unholy synergies.
Funny paradox here. The game got delayed precisely because the demo was too good. It climbed to 16th place by player count during Next Fest and landed an overwhelmingly positive rating, at which point Paper Cult looked at the mountain of feedback and pushed the date back to polish the back half. The Montreal team previously made Bloodroots, that gorgeous maple syrup-soaked murder machine, so their sense of impact is bulletproof. Here you lead a Scottish battalion against the invaders who followed a meteor onto your island, and it plays closer to a tactical Dynasty Warriors than to a traditional roguelike. You are not a lone hero, you are part of an army. Your soldiers grow between campaigns and stay with you. Nice touch that on PC it launches straight into Game Pass, so trying it costs you nothing.
The cracks in the seal are intensifying. If we don't act...
Line Games in Korea assembled an in-house team of just 15 people, all with big budget experience, and what they are building is openly begging to be compared to Hades. You play Fenrix, an immortal hunter trapped in a loop of death and rebirth, descending into the burning depths to stop the archdemon Asmodeus. Angels hand out blessings that stack into awakened abilities, and the bosses are the Judicators, judges who sold their own souls to become demons. In practice, it feels less like a full-action RPG, and more like a Survivors-like with the safety off and Souls-like bosses bolted on, and that gap between pitch and product is where my doubts live. Early access was promised over a year ago, then quietly abandoned, and now the store page points at the tail end of next year. This is the sequel to the game where you spend your days behind a counter guessing what a rusty sword is worth, and your nights out there stealing that sword yourself. After the first game, the Spanish team at Digital Sun made the Mage's Seeker and Cataclysmo, and it was the latter that taught them to work in 3D, which is why the flat top-down view is gone, and everything is isometric now. Will has lost his home dimension and is stranded in the village of Tresna, where a mysterious relic collector offers him a deal. Bring back treasures from 3 unstable worlds, and you get to go home. Nuevo Tokyo was born when Mexico and Japan collided in fire and betrayal, and the cartels fused with the Yakuza into a new ruling class, the Narcuzas. It sounds like a drunk bet, and the game behaves exactly like one. Mexican jutsus, spirit animals, non-stop jokes, and a skill tree called the Way of the Donkey. The foundation is old school, a 2.5D beat-em-up in the streets of Rage tradition with roguelite progression layered on top. Behind it is Mad Bricks, a studio living under the wing of Romanian outsourcing giant Amber, and you can see the fingerprints. I cannot really file this one under upcoming. It has been in early access for over a year and sits at 98% positive across 8,500 reviews, which makes it one of the most beloved indies on the store right now, and it was made by 3 people in New Mexico. You climb up through the guts of a colossal concrete megastructure from 10,000 meters down, hauling yourself up pipes and ledges while something rises behind you that you would rather not think about. The movement runs on momentum and physics. Slip, fall, run over, no checkpoints, no mercy.
You may lose another, and every step higher will test what you are willing.
This is not Peak, and it is not a climbing simulator. It is a turn-based tactics game that is spiritually far closer to Darkest Dungeon than to anything about mountains. Ludogram in France came up with a mechanic I am willing to forgive a lot for. The entire climbing party is physically tied together by one rope. You position your team like pieces on a board, you anchor a teammate, you pull them out of a fall, or you drag them into one. And when an expedition starts collapsing, you have to decide whether to cut the rope. Whoever you lose takes resources with them and takes morale too, and the trauma settles into the survivors and makes the next climb harder. There are 9 classes, each with its own toolkit. The Highlander shoves things off cliffs, the Scout repositions with a grappling hook, the Sapper solves problems with explosives.
To climb where no one dares, to face storms, hunger, and fear. To save one life, you may...
Arena. Only 4 up to 4 ferocious friends.
The kind of idea that makes you immediately want to round up friends. Up to 4 gladiators physically chained together, thrown into the Colosseum. The chain is both a curse and a weapon. You can trip an enemy with it, wrap them up, drag them down, or you can wind it around a pillar and hand the whole team over to a row of swords. The Australian and New Zealand crew at featherweight added an injury system that wins me over even more than the chain does. Your wounds do not reset between runs, they pile up, and a bloody eye literally blocks half your screen for the rest of the day. Real gladiators did not die and respawn, they got maimed over and over until they retired or bled out. There is even an option to let your stream chat vote on which affliction potion you are forced to drink.
Strongest survive. Your masters, enchained beasts, where the side effects they bring. In the arena.
You're in it once, or not.
By day, you build a kingdom, set up production chains, and feed your heroes in the tavern. By night, the hordes come out of the dark, and everything you built can burn down in a single bad siege. It has been in early access for a while under Hooded Horse, launched straight into Game Pass, and you can recruit over 50 different units. Vampires covering halfling slingers. Dinosaurs charging in ahead of genie spellcasters. 11 guardian heroes, each with their own strategy and their own holes in the defense. The overall rating holds at 88% across nearly 6,000 reviews, which is solid. But the recent numbers are the ones worth watching. Latest reviews have dropped to 78. The Chinese player base has gone mixed outright, and I would find out what exactly went sideways with the balance before buying in.
I can help you. Is impossible.
Whatever date you saw somewhere is out of date. It got pushed by 2 weeks so the team could digest the feedback from the demo festival. 2 people in Santiago founded Kickstone 3 years ago, and their setup is disarmingly simple. The heist failed, the Renegades' crash landed near the planet Pymo and had to dig down into it. What follows is bullet hell for 3 players, mineral hauling, and a constant tug-of-war between cashing out to the ship and pushing 1 layer deeper. But the good stuff is hiding in the name of the gang. Before every fork, the squad votes at monoliths on where to go next, and the game explicitly invites you to break away from the group for personal gain. half-brick means Fruit Ninja and Jetpack Joyride, which means these are people who shaped half of early mobile gaming. Now, the Australians are making their first proper PC game, and credit where it is due, it is not a lazy one. You do not hunt for better guns, there are only 3. What you hunt for is the order of the shots in your magazine. You collect bullets with effects and load them in whatever sequence you like, and they fire in exactly that sequence. An armor-stripping corrosive round before a heavy shot is one thing, the heavy shot before the corrosive is something else entirely. Between rooms, you can rebuild the whole magazine. 60+ bullet types, 80 relics, bullet fusion, tarot cards at the start of a run, and 5 escalating curse tiers for when you get bored.
Explore the undead-infested crypt. Delve into the goblin-ravaged forgotten mines and descend